Johan writes, can you please elaborate on your standards of 15 times body weight on squats and bench press? And then he says, everybody else on the web are talking about 1.5 body weight squat for 1 rep and 1.2 or whatever bench press for 1 rep as strong. Why the same rep scheme on the same weight for 2 such different movements? I also have that for the overhead squat. The reason is just, Johan, and I know it sounds weird, but if you can overhead squat your body weight, you got to understand this point. This is the whole point. If you can bench your body weight 15 times, if you can overhead squat your body weight 15 times or back squat it 15 times, your problem is not the weight room. Your problem is what you're doing on the field of play. This is for athletes, though, by the way. Remember that. And so what happens is that when you're working with athletes, they're always chasing numbers, and I did all the time. I wanted that. I wanted the 400 clean. My goal was the 400. So 400 clean, 400 front squat, 400 bench. And yeah, I got there. I didn't need it. I was, we had a semi engine on a Volkswagen. We had a truck engine on a Volkswagen. An old Volkswagen Bug. My engine was too big. My wheels couldn't stay on the ground. One of the things you have to learn to do when you're working with elite athletes, and by the way, those numbers come from my friend Will Heffernan too. I just stole them from him, and I think I used to give him credit, but I'll still make sure I do. The idea, and those of us who've been around a while, there's this line in the sand where you're strong enough. The reason you're not starting, the reason you're not on the national team, isn't the weight room. It's you. There's skills you don't have, and you've got to work on those skills. Because of what I do, I get a chance to be on the field with American professional football teams and American professional baseball teams. When I'm in Ireland, being on the field with Connacht Rugby, when you're out there, you can certainly see that the guys are weight room strong. There's no question they're weight room strong. But then when you look at the skills that they have that got them there, then you go, oh, I see. It's not just they can bench this or squat that. They actually perform all that out there in the field of play. So that's why I use those numbers. By the way, and those numbers literally, it's because it comes from the number of pull-ups most of us think you should be able to do. Most of us think about 15 pull-ups is about where you need to be. So if 15 pull-ups is a good number, just toss them in there for the bench press and the squat. I'm telling you, if you test yourself on those lifts with your body weight for reps, very often you get a really good chance. You can scale it right across. You do the bench press body weight, you do your pull-up, you do your back squat, you do your overhead squat, and then do the farmer walk tests. And then, of course, the deadlift sits over here by itself. When you've done that day and, say like you can do, 5 benches with your body weight, but you can back squat it for 35, very common in Europe. I would say you need more pushing. No American in the world would ever have that problem. But the Americans won't be able to squat their back squat for 15, or overhead squat it. And so what it does, it allows you as a coach to show, well, you don't have to show it. It's right there. It leaps out to everybody. I hope that helps. And again, if you disagree with my numbers, there's no problem with that. Just be sure you find your own, and then you'll be answering the same question in a while, because it's the journey of finding standards that's the most difficult, I think.